So when you look at Notre Dame's physicality on offense, how big a box is that for you guys to check on Saturday?
Well, a very difficult one, and they do a good job of make it very challenging defensively to kind of earmark, okay, whether it's, where the ball's being directed in the run game, the gaps of responsibility, they change with shifts and motions and a lot of surfaces, a four-man surface, four guys next to the center. And so really makes it very difficult to, add numbers everywhere you need it. And then, obviously you got the best tight end in the country to direct the ball to as well, and some good skill around them. So, major challenge. And they've kind of, I think, found a rhythm in the last few weeks. So it's maybe the timing for us isn't ideal because certainly there's been a level of production that's kind of taken off most recently.
With Michael Mayer, what adjustments do you make from the Utah game and Kincaid?
Yeah, tackle him, when he's got the ball. I mean, and that's you can come up with a lot of ingredients, and you can put two guys, you got two guys on him, one of the two, if not both of them, are going to have to get him on the ground. Now, he obviously gets a vote, and he's elite at finding ways to, similar to issues we've had in the past, is, they have a tendency not just to fall on first contact. And so, we try to convince the guys it's not open field tackles. You're not by yourself. Sometimes you are by yourself, and you got to find a way to get a body part, and sometimes just hang on for dear life. But no, you got to have obviously an understanding of where he's at. When a high-level run game and the physicality, as you mentioned, it's very difficult to say, okay, let's put two on him and still have extras in the run game. So that's defensive football. It's a different way to attack defense than most weeks, but obviously highly effective, and one you see on Sundays quite a bit as you watch NFL.
How, if at all, might it help you guys to see a strong UCLA running game last week and this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, it's a different way to go about it, but in the end, it's still adding gaps, really putting you in a difficult situation from what we call eye control. It could be built with motion. At times it's what seems like a blocker, capping an edge that turns into a route. Sometimes in a guy that begins to block and then runs a route. And so, kind of all those indicators that you look for, again, similar, maybe a different set, more in again, extra tight ends in the game as opposed with wide receivers, but again, the same issues, eye control. And then, we say defend the run as pass first defenders on the back, back five as you look at the secondary. But God dang, we need you in the run game too. So, hopefully you build week 12. You take examples over the course of time and some of those headaches that we've had, and we gotta learn from them and find a way to have some success.
It's coming up on a year since you and Nick arrived. What do you recall from that first week when you were just watching practice and your first impressions of what you were taking over?
Yeah, I mean it's gone fast. I mean in so many ways it's hard to look back on who those guys were. I mean, I like to think they're different guys. I hope they from a development standpoint, certainly moving the needle in the right direction, physically, mentally, and all those things. And regardless of where they're part of that is just a year older and a year sharper. But I think it's gone fast. That's how football is now. You're on a 1 year. You're on a 1 year plan. It's always 1 year cycles now. So this is year one, and then very quickly here after the new year, you got to look at it through the lens of it's year one again. It's just the way I've really cautioned myself. Well, it's just year one. You build in time, and those are conversations for years past. I mean, that's the kind of the old way of approaching things and saying now you got to build year in and year out, and obviously there's a staple of guys that will be around to be part of it as you establish culture. But college football now it's year one, and I think you got to look at it through that lens.
So in that case, has it happened faster than you thought because you're 10-1 in the Pac-12 game in the national championship conversation?
Sure, and I think you look at it through the lens from a defensive standpoint, as you say, it's a duality to it. There's some good, there's some bad, and the frustrations are real, and we don't sugarcoat it. And there's not a lot of days that we sit around here and say, look how great we're doing, because Saturday film suggests we're not, and so we understand what the expectation is, but until you get there, it's pipe dream, and we're not there yet, and we know that, and so that's the challenge that's ahead of us. Big picture stuff. You start going through the roster and say which guys on your roster are having their best year of college football, and this is me being too positive, which I struggle with sometimes. But that's a long list. Now, collectively, are we getting what we need to get out of a group? No, and that's my job, and that's my issue. So I got to get it out of them, and we got to play more consistent. And so the frustrations are all the same, just as real. But you mentioned in a year's time, you're saying that there's a lot of guys playing their best ball. Now we got to make their level of best ball that much better.
Let's do one more.
Kind of to the point about the defense, Lincoln has talked about not paying attention to the rankings at all until the end of the year. You know, it's part of college football. But last night, you know, the committee chair said, you know, the committee wanted to see more out of the USC defense. That's something that, you know, do you find motivating, or how do you kind of take that criticism on anyway?
Well, no, and I didn't see it. I mean, I from a criticism standpoint, it's you know, Saturdays that's your resume. From a coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint, there's no dodging it. We're very honest in that, and understand that the chief goal each week is to find a way to beat the opponent by one. Now, after that is to play at a high level defensively, and if they score one, you got to have some level of frustration about you. No, for added motivation, certainly not. Just from the standpoint, you're in the business of win games. We found a way to win 10. We're going to fight like all hell to get 11. It's going to be very, very difficult to do so. We understand that, and we also understand it's very real in terms of the responsibility we have on our side of the ball, not simply to be the group that just hangs on. So we got to play at a much higher level.
Thank you, Coach.